Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this tips and tricks video. Here we're going to move the root document folder in XAMPP and LAMPP, which is used by Apache2 to serve the web pages, from the default, which is htdocs, to a new one of our choosing. htdocs is in the LAMPP directory, which is opt LAMPP htdocs, and I want to actually move it into my Dropbox folder. So where I actually want to move it is into Dropbox and into a directory called www here. So what I've done is I've copied over the contents of htdocs, as this is a new setup, little information in here. So I've copied over the contents of htdocs and I've pasted it into the www directory in Dropbox. So you can see the contents is here along with the dashboard image. I'm copying that over. I'll just change that into the text format, and I'm going to just put that into the clipboard just so that you can see that we won't be serving documents from here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to rename htdocs. And if I just move that out the way, so as you can see, we've now renamed htdocs, and if we tried to serve any documents, we would just get an error. What do we need to do? Well, the easiest way to do anything is to actually start XAMPP, but don't actually start the servers. What you want to do is highlight Apache Server and click on Configure. Click on Open Conf File, and then you'll have to click Yes. Right. Once the conf file is open, there are two things that you need to do. The first one is that you need to change, of course, the document root. So search for htdocs, which is the old document root, and you can actually see that it's brought up too. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy and paste this because I'm a little bit of a belt and braces person, and I do like to have copies of things. I've actually copied both of those, and the hash or the pound is the comment symbol in the conf file. I was a bit premature in copying that, so I shall now copy the path and we will paste it into these. Now, the next thing that you've got to do is you'll notice that the owner of all the files and folders within www is me. I am the owner, not daemon, which was probably what the document root was set to. So you'll need to change that. So if you search for user, and you might need to find a few. And here we go. So it's user here. I've actually changed mine to John. Yours is probably set to Damon. I would recommend you change it to your user name and put it in there. I've left the group as Damon, and what I actually did was, when I did the permissions for this folder, I created me as the owner and the group as Damon. Make sure you are the user, otherwise you're going to have one or two problems. We need to save that, and we can now close this. Now that's part one, and we're not going to start the servers yet because there's a couple of other things that we need to do. Now I have this, let me just minimize that. I have this open in terminal, and what you'll also need to do is you're going to need to check a number of different settings as well. Click on etc. You'll actually see that this is the location of the httpd-conf file that we altered a few minutes ago. You can see the time here. And what we need to do is go to extra, and you'll see in extra there's an httpd-vhosts file. Now if you have altered this and added any virtual hosts, you will need to change the document root for those virtual hosts. So that's quite important that you do that if you've created any virtual hosts. If you haven't created any virtual hosts, then you could ignore this step. The next step, which is a bit strange, is to come into the Apache2 folder, and you'll see there's actually a conf folder and an htdocs folder. The htdocs just has a picture in it, so you don't have to do anything with that. But this one here actually does need changing, and I changed it earlier, and you can see that I've actually changed it to the www folder. So this actually points to the LAMPP docs bit army, and so you need to change this to the www folder, and we can close that. Now the other thing that you might need to do is you have to come down to php myadmin and have a look at config.inc.php and make sure that you are the owner of config.php, inc.php. The other thing is I've actually created a XAMPP folder in php myadmin folder, and it's set to me as being the owner. This will stop one of the errors coming up in php myadmin. So you need to create a temp folder and make sure you are the owner. Right, so let's just check to see if all of that worked. So we'll open up XAMPP. We will start the different servers. While they're starting, I'll start up Chromium. Right, the servers are running, so I'll type in local host, and as you can see we now have the dashboard, and we know it's the correct dashboard because if you remember we renamed the htdocs to htdocs back, so it's not being served from there, it's being served from the www directory, and we can just check that everything works. So applications, FAQs, how-to guides, PHP info, and that's working fine, and finally PHP myadmin. Enter the password, and as you can see PHP myadmin is fully up and running. So remember that little trick that I showed you. This is something to do with the Linux and MacOS version, that you need to change the Apache2 folder as well. And remember in PHP myadmin to make sure that you have a temporary directory, temp, which you are the owner of, and make sure that the config.inc.php you've changed to the owner of that as well. Please leave any comments below. I do like the comments. Please like and subscribe. My name's John, and I'll see you next time.